Action News at 6 starts right now.
A somber anniversary of a tragedy we won't soon forget.
I'm still sad every day.
4 young lives cut short, others changed forever. 1 year ago today.
What happened at the school really hurts everybody, and I know people can feel it today.
The Oxford community sharing stories of grief and inspiration with our Action News team, highlighting the lasting impact of these young victims.
People should know that Hannah is a bright light.
I'm Carolyn Clifford, live in Oxford, sitting down with parents of shooting victims. Tonight, you're going to hear about their journey to uncover the truth and how they are hoping to help others through their pain.
All day today, we are doing our best to respectfully reflect on the horrific events that unfolded at Oxford High School 1 year ago. The lives lost, those still recovering from injuries seen and unseen while finding a way forward. My partner, Carolyn Clifford, is live in Oxford tonight, as she was a year ago, sharing how the parents of victims are still grieving, but moving forward. She joins us now on a day that is still very, very difficult for so many, Carolyn.
7 Action News starts right now with a severe weather alert.
A flooding emergency in Metro Detroit.
And all the water was just coming on the freeway,
Suddenly, imagine hit a wall of water here.
Cars and semis submerged, leaving drivers stranded. The powerful floodwaters wreaking havoc inside homes. Tonight, stories of survival and how to prepare for the next round of rain. It's been a significant 24 hours in Metro Detroit. Severe storms pounding southeastern Michigan. Today, basements are underwater and some freeways look more like rivers. The severe flooding has forced Governor Whitmer to declare a state of emergency for Wayne County as another round of storms heads our way. Good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Brian Abel. We do have team coverage tonight as Michigan braces for the next batch of severe weather. Our crews are monitoring the roads to keep you prepared, but we do want to begin with meteorologist Mike Taylor, who's keeping an eye on a tornado watch that may have turned into a warning just now, Mike.
Now, that's right, for some areas just west of Metro Detroit, but we're...
But we begin with Michigan's largest on-site vaccination clinic getting ready to close its doors. Thank you so much for joining us for 7 Action News at 5. I'm Alan Campbell.
And I'm Glenda Lewis, live outside of that vaccination clinic at Ford Field. Today is the final day to be able to come in. You can walk in and get a vaccination. This is marking the end of an 8-week push to try to make a dent in our numbers and help to keep our community healthy. And since this vaccination started, it was March 23rd, about 275,000 Michiganders received a dose here at Ford Field. Breaking down who did get their shot here, Oakland County residents came down and accounted for the most number of doses, followed by Wayne County residents, but that excludes those who live in the city of Detroit. The data shows Detroiters made up for less than 10% of doses at Ford Field. As of last week, 63 children between the ages of 12 and 15 years old were vaccinated here, but the largest age group that came to Ford Field were people in their 30s. And as this vaccination site prepares to come to a close, Michigan's numbers also appear to be on a downward trend, and that is a good news for our state. The state reporting more than 2,200 cases in the past 2 days, with an additional 20 deaths. But there is some concern about when Michigan could reach our next benchmark as vaccination rates slow. The latest numbers show 56.3% of Michiganders had received their first dose. Our next benchmark for eased restrictions is 60%. We are on our way there, but experts are expecting it to be a slow go to hit those steps. And with the state easing mask rules, some business owners say it's time to ease more restrictions. 7 Action News reporter Kimberly is going to start us off here looking at the frustrations from business owners out there. Kim, Craig, what do you have for us?
Yes, good afternoon, Glenna. And you're right. Business owners tell us a lot of them just say they just want things to make sense. And while organizers of the Ford Field Vaccine Clinic here at Ford Field here really did an incredible job with all the vaccines that they did deliver, about 18% of their allocation was not used here at Ford Field, and it will now go to other parts of the state. And right now, instead of focusing on large-scale vaccine clinics like they did here at Ford Field, state health officials say they are going to actually target their movement now to areas where people are resistant or refusing to get the vaccine. Reporting live in downtown Detroit, Kimberly Craig, 7 Action News. Glenda, back over to you.
All right, Kim, thank you so much. And we still do have a ways to go, but our effort has been successful, and we're happy to be able to say that. Joining us right now is Troy Christensen with FEMA. And Troy, thank you for being here with us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us about Ford Field, and was it a success?
So it definitely was a success by a lot of different metrics. I mean, just when you look at the sheer numbers of shots that took place inside Ford Field behind me over the past 8 weeks, we're talking about nearly 250,000 shots. So, I mean, there's really a large number of people were able to get vaccinated here, and it's really a testament to all the collaboration that happened here in the city of Detroit, really the entire state of Michigan, and all of our partners at the Department of Defense who were actually administering a lot of the shots, the private sector, the Lions organization in Ford Field, really everybody coming together to make that a reality over the past couple of months.
Yeah, a lot of hard work from a lot of people, as you just said, went into trying to get this clinic going and keep Michiganders safe. So what's next?
So, you know, even though this site right here is going to be ceasing operations, there are still a lot of sites across the state, as I'm sure a lot of folks know, maybe even closer to home for some people. And in addition to this site ceasing operations, we also are supporting, FEMA is supporting about 100 additional sites across the state, either with personnel from the federal government or also for PPE, for funding, things like that. So even though this site is winding down, as I mentioned, there are still many sites that are going to be operational here for some time to come.
And we know that there's more that we need to do, but as a state, are we coming along and getting closer to where we need to be?
I think Michigan has a great plan that they've been undertaking over the past couple of months in getting shots in arms. Every state is uniquely different, and we at FEMA, we work with the state to identify what needs they may come up with as we go forward, and we certainly will be working with the state of Michigan going forward as we come into this next phase of vaccination and trying to get to the harder to reach populations.
All right, Troy, we thank you for your insight, and we appreciate you being here with us this afternoon, telling us how we did. We're coming to a close here at this clinic, but want to go now to Meyer, where you can get a second dose. If you get one here tonight, you can head over to Meyer, but it is changing its mask-wearing policy, which is important to note today. So starting today, customers who are fully vaccinated are able to shop without a mask as long as it's allowed by state and local laws. People who didn't get that COVID-19 vaccine need to continue masking up at Meyer unless they have a medical condition that prevents them from wearing a mask. Also, Meyer workers will have to wear masks from now until the future. So, Alan, we're not out of the woods yet, but we've certainly made some headway. You can still come down here till 8:30 tonight and receive your first or second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. We'll be happy to talk to Dr. Nandy in just a couple of minutes on the next effort in the fight against this virus, which is for our children and the vaccines that are already in place, that they're being worked on for our children now. That is the next phase, Alan. Back to you.
Yeah, that mass vaccination site was so important to get as many Michiganders vaccinated as possible, to get us back at least on the trail to some type of normalcy. Glenda, thank you for that live report. We'll check back in with you in just a little bit. Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan just named an interim police chief to run the department when Chief James Craig steps down in June. James E. White will take over the role until a new chief is selected. White will be leaving his current job, leading the Michigan Department of Civil Rights. He's also a state-licensed mental health counselor. In the past, he also served as assistant chief of Detroit Police. 7 Action reporter Jim Kirstner is live at the Detroit Golf Club, where the department is holding its first annual neighborhood liaison golf outing. Jim?
Ellen, Police Chief James Craig is here. He was not at that news conference with the mayor and the interim chief. Interim Chief White says Chief Craig came into Detroit, his hometown, when he was sorely needed with the Detroit bankruptcy and many other problems, but times are a little different now. Now, Chief Craig is here. He says this will be a smooth transition with the leadership team under the interim chief. And we asked the chief, was the prosecutor referring to Chief Craig being a, quote, glory seeker?
I'm going to assume that it is not a reference to me. And this is why I started my remarks out this way. Glory seeking is one thing. Those are people that are self-serving, opportunists. I have never fell into that category. What I am is a public servant. The prosecutor is a public servant. Judges are public servant, and we're responsible and accountable to the people we serve. So glory seeking, I can't imagine that she would ever make that reference to me.
And in case you're wondering, Chief James Craig has said nothing more about possibly running for governor. He says that'll be after June 1st. Reporting live, Jim Kurtzner, 7 Action News.
All right, Jim, thanks for that live report. And still ahead here at 5, our special coverage from Ford Field continues. Later, we'll have a live interview with one of the volunteers who made the mass vaccination possible. But first, a warm week ahead. Dave?
Memorial Day is on the way, right? But how about 4th of July temperatures instead? Big time warm up, near record highs. I'll tell you how high and how long coming up in the forecast.
All right, sounds good, Dave. Thank you. Plus, vaccinating children. Experts say it's the key to reaching herd immunity. Our Dr. Nanny breaks down the current trials testing COVID vaccines in kids. Stay with us.
Michigan weather. It can change by the hour, by the minute.
And it started coming sideways.
And sometimes by the second.
Tornado warnings, extreme flooding, dangerous wind and lightning, even the warning signs of heat stroke. Seconds can make all the difference.
In Michigan, we've always had to deal with extreme weather. We could be dealing with it more often.
And in some cases, it's getting more intense.
The roof lifted up, slammed into my neighbor's house.
Now, more than ever, it's crucial to stay ahead of the storm.
It was an instant when it hit. It was crazy.
And the 7 First Alert Weather Team is your first line of defense. When severe weather strikes, we're there in an instant.
Tonight, how the changing climate is fueling the severe weather threat in southeast Michigan. The crucial information to keep your family safe. And the 7 First Alert weather tools that help you track the storm. Because as we've seen time and time again, when severe weather strikes,
go, 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 go.
Every second counts.
This is a 7 First Alert Weather Special, when every second counts.
This is Severe Weather Awareness Week, and every year we face a number of threats in Metro Detroit. Now, more than ever, it's important to know what could come our way.
Last year, we had an active season. In 2021, 16 tornadoes damaged communities across our state. The summer months were the 7th wettest on record, with more than 15 inches of rain. Our heat waves were hotter, and they lasted longer.
These numbers are more than just one season. They're becoming a trend.
We're looking at the science, and our climate is changing. We're experiencing the impacts right here in Michigan.
An increase in temperatures across the U.S. means more evaporation, and that means more precipitation and more flooding.
Tonight, we look back on the severe weather we had in 2021. What happened, who was hit, and how we can prepare for the future when every second counts. A lot of us love Michigan because of our mild summers, but we are starting to see a change.
Temperatures are getting hotter, and the heat is sticking around longer. After a cold winter, some warmth sounds nice, but the truth is heat is more dangerous than you may think. Let's start with the facts. In Metro Detroit, we're seeing more 90-degree or warmer days. We used to hit 90 or higher only 13 days of the year. But in the past 5 years, that number has jumped to 16. It may not sound like much, but longer and hotter heat waves do have a big impact, and not just here in the city, but out here in Michigan's rural areas where acres and acres of crops are at the mercy of our weather. Michigan's food and agriculture industry contributes more than $101 billion each year to the state's economy. It makes up about 20% of our workforce. But a wet spring or a hotter than normal summer can wreak havoc on these farms.
Basically have been doing a lot of trial and error over the years.
Green Things Farm Collective put roots down in Ann Arbor about 10 years ago. Today, dozens of vegetable and seed are produced on its more than 60 acres. The team here grows and harvests through all 4 seasons, which has presented a number of challenges.
We struggled for years in our early years with how to deal with large rain events. So we used to really try and push spring production, but it's a little more unpredictable with what the weather's going to do.
But it's not just the major rain events. It's the heat and drying out afterwards. Nate Latta is one of the owners of Green Things Farm Collective. He tells us they've had to be creative, using wood chips, compost, and other techniques to find the right balance of moisture needed to grow their crops when the temperatures rise.
The wood chips make a really nice path, and they also can absorb a lot of that moisture in our soil. You know, this compost sort of has sort of this huge holding capacity, and I can just dig right in, and we just have this like rich earth, and this will hold a lot more moisture.
These tricks and techniques can help save different plants from Michigan's extreme weather, but it can get expensive.
You know, just things like running our walk-in coolers where we keep our produce cold. The hotter it is, the more energy, you know, that goes into cooling things. It's becoming more costly to grow food, I think, because farmers are having to go to greater lengths to manage that production.
Just like these crops, it doesn't take much heat to hurt your health. Here in Michigan, we're used to more mild summers than people who live further south. Research shows health-related hospitalizations peak in the Midwest when our heat index reaches just 86 degrees.
I think as we've seen more heat waves, we have seen a larger number of cases.
Dr. Neil Khanna works in the emergency department at Henry Ford Medical Center in Dearborn. He says they see patients with heat stroke and other heat-related illnesses as early as May and as late as September every year. The people most at risk are over the age of 65 and under the age of 4.
Some of the big warning signs that we look out for are headache, dizziness, confusion, nausea, vomiting, really a change in activity level or fatigue, as well as muscle cramps.
These symptoms can creep up on you quickly, especially in a city setting, something known as an urban heat island. Roads, parking lots, and buildings can trap hot air, making the city as much as 7 degrees hotter than surrounding suburbs. That's something to be cautious of as things heat up. Of the top 10 hottest summers in Detroit, 7 have occurred since 2005. And average summer temperatures have increased more than 3 degrees. It's a trend that's expected to continue.
I think we all have to be thinking forward to what the world is becoming, and it's getting warmer, and it feels to me like if you're not thinking about strategies to diversify and adapt, it's going to be really hard.
When it comes to your health, prevention is key. Staying hydrated is important, and it's best to stay in an air-conditioned environment or in the shade if you're spending time outside. But for our agriculture, it's about resiliency.
We obviously can't control if there's a heat wave. What we can do is set ourselves up weathering those heat or cold or rain or snow events and keep sort of producing as best we can.
For Green Things Farm Collective, learning to change with the weather is what has helped them continue to grow.
Buckle up. The Detroit Auto Show is back. Tonight, a glimpse into the future with must-see innovations, EV advancements, and state-of-the-art simulators. Join us as Channel 7 puts the spotlight on technology.
It has been 3 long years without the sounds of revving engines and the excited cheers of auto enthusiasts in downtown Detroit. But the North American International Auto Show is back in the Motor City. Good evening and welcome to Huntington Place. I'm Brian Abel. We are live in the middle of the action for this highly anticipated celebration of automobility. And this year, the show is bigger than ever before. Everything we love about the Detroit Auto Show has grown beyond these 4 walls, rolling into the iconic Hart Plaza on the best riverfront in America. This indoor-outdoor setup, first in show history. The major expansion promises to give car fanatics an immersive experience, from virtual reality to ride and drives on next year's Grand Prix circuit. But here in Huntington Place, about 30 brands are surrounding me on the show floor tonight. It is truly an impressive collection of new and rare vehicles. 7 Action News reporter Sarah Grimmer has been here all day as well, following the big announcements and reveals. And Sarah, what are the highlights? Detroit has been designing and defining the future of auto innovation for decades. The auto show started as a small event, if you can believe it, back in 1907. Since then, we've seen flashy displays, historic introductions, and game-changing concepts. The event growing into an international sensation, putting the Motor City on the map. And now in 2022, Detroit is once again driving the auto industry forward. with a focus on technology. And joining me now is Thad Zott, the president of the Detroit Auto Dealers Association. Thad, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Appreciate the time. A major reveal just minutes away. Ford is keeping its new Mustang under wraps. After the break, an exclusive sneak peek of the 7th generation pony car. It wouldn't be the Detroit Auto Show without a highly anticipated debut. And Faraz is outside of the front row seat.
Ryan, I'm here to make you jealous. This is the moment. I'm in the belly of Hart Plaza. First time, before the world sees this, we got an exclusive sneak peek for the 2024 Ford Mustang. I've got Gian from Ford here who's going to tell me real quick what is so special and different about this vehicle.
7th generation, all new, hometown. This is our hometown sports car. We're about to reveal it in a second, and we wanted to give you an exclusive look.
Let's see it.
Let's take a little peek
Pump
here.
the brakes.
Let's take a look.
Oh, and the signature taillight.
That's right, the tri-bars.
I love it. Now, remember, the big reveal is happening at 8:15. You can catch it exclusively on Ford's YouTube page and social media page, and, of course, on Channel 7, the 7 Action News at 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. We'll have more details about it. Brian, I know you're jealous. I can see you fuming right now. But you know what? Back to you.
Just a little peek there for us. Thank you. We have had a great time giving you a glimpse into the future tonight. Thank you for joining us as we celebrate the return of the beloved Detroit Auto Show. We hope to see you downtown for all the excitement this weekend. Have a great night.